Indonesia's food and beverage industry is expected to grow faster this year on the back of rising demand during the presidential and legislative elections last month and the upcoming regional head elections, in addition to higher demands during Ramadan fasting month and Idul Fitri celebrations.
The Association of Food and Beverage Producers, or GAP-MMI, is optimistic that the increase in the demands during elections, as well as during Ramadan fasting month and Idul Fitri, will help revive the industry, which is still struggling to return to the condition before the COVID-19 pandemic. The association projects with such more promising outlook. The food and beverage industry will grow by about 7% this year, returning back to the average growth level recorded before the COVID-19 pandemic, which severely hit almost all business sectors in the country in 2020 and 2021. Director General of Agro-Industry at the Ministry of Industry, Putu Juli Arika, said that the food and beverage industry played a significant role in supporting the country's economic growth. In 2023, the industry contributed 39% to the non-oil and gas industry's gross domestic product or income GDP and 6.55% to national GDP. The industry's growth slightly declined to 4.47% in 2023 from 4.9% in 2022. Despite the decline, the food and beverage industry remained among the top 5 industries with the highest exports. With a population of 275.7 million, or the 4th largest in the world, coupled with a significant growth of the middle class and the upward trend of expenditure per capita, Indonesia's food and beverage industry continues to be one of the strongest business sectors in the country. According to Global Business Guide of Indonesia, the Indonesian processed food market is dominated by several large local companies, including Indo Food Sukses Makmur, one of the world's largest instant noodle makers, and Wings Group, Mayora, and Garuda Food. Such companies have embarked on strategies to not only attract customers by price, but innovate to produce tailored, value-added products that appeal to the Indonesian consumers' preference for traditional food and in instant form, such as Mayora's instant coffee. Foreign companies and brands are also well integrated into the market, including Nestlé and Kraft Unilever, often in joint ventures with local companies to access distribution networks. Multinational firms have been successful in appealing to the growing health consciousness of Indonesian middle-class consumers. The sector as a whole is estimated to have over 6,000 companies. Approximately 90% are classified as large and medium-sized companies, which are all mainly appealing to the price-sensitive, lower-income customers. Indeed, the food and beverage industry has played a significant role in Indonesia, not only in driving the economic growth and in providing jobs for the people. However, the industry is still dominated by large companies, while small businesses are struggling to survive in the highly competitive industry. The government should, of course, need to support the small and medium-scale players so that they can also tap into the large food and drink market.
The rising demand ahead of general elections in the past February and regional head elections in November are expected to help revive food and beverage industry, but rising costs and high inflation may hurt this growth momentum. Now we have with us today Adhi S. Lukman, Chairman of Indonesian Food and Beverage Producers Association, and he will talk to us about the impact of the rising costs as well as the high inflation on the country's food and beverage industry. Hello and welcome, Pak Adhi, to Economic Outlook.
Hello, Loisa.
It's good to see you again here
thank
on
you.
Economic Outlook.
Yep.
The Association of Food and Beverage Producers have been saying that there is a target of 7%.
Yep.
Do you think that the increase in the demand during election is high enough to help achieve this target so far?
Well, if maybe I flashback a little bit end of last year, yeah. We hope that in 2024, the election and also the Ramadan will increase our demand in the market. And since December last year, we already negotiated with the retailers to deliver the product to the markets, and we prepare already until December, January, okay, and then near to the election day in the February, the market a little bit slow because the retail, they don't want to make a stock. Maybe some consideration about the safety, something like that, and then before we hope that the election can increase the demand significantly. Unfortunately, maybe the activity of the campaign, everything is not massive in this year.
I see.
So that's why a little bit increase, yes. A little bit increase, yes.
But it's not as high.
Not as high as I expected, yes.
Yeah, because everyone keeps saying that this is such a good momentum,
yes,
because we have the election coming, and then we have Ramadan just right after that.
Yeah.
And, you know, everyone kept saying that Indonesia's economy is going to get back normal after the pandemic, and it's been like more than 1 year since that. We are expecting that our growth will be at 7%, but at the moment we're still at 5%. Why is it so difficult to go back to that condition pre-COVID?
Yeah, the factor not only the Ramadan election, but also some other challenges like geopolitics and also the climate change impact a lot to the food and beverage industries. You know, the basic food increase so much, the price, and also fresh food. So this is impact to the buying power of the consumers. With their income, of course they make a priority to buy the basic needs, basic foods, instead of the secondary foods. So that's why a little bit impact to our industries. So that is the priority. But since last week, after we enter to the Ramadan seasons, the market is growing. So we do hope that we can get this momentum to increase our sales.
We're still playing catch up for a better economy this year. Now, apart from sugar, you mentioned just now we have all the basic food. The prices of other raw materials are also still on the rise, while people's buying power is actually weakening due to our inflation. What should the industry do to prevent our economy from failing?
Yes, for the big companies or big manufacturers, a little bit impact, but we still have a stock. Usually in our business systems, the big companies always prepare the raw materials once for 1 year. For 1 year, we have a contract with the suppliers. So will secure our raw material both for the quantity, also the price. So our more resilience for the medium big companies. Unfortunately, for the small medium enterprise, this is a big challenge because once the price increase, they impact directly to their products because they don't have enough stock, they don't have contract in the long term. So that is the big problem for the small medium enterprises. So for the big companies, we keep our selling price is stable, not increase suddenly. Even our raw materials increase, our logistic costs, energy, everything increase. So we reduce the margin, the profits. So our bottom line, of course, will reduce a little bit. That is our strategy. To keep stable and then keep our sales increase.
Now, still speaking of the raw materials, we know that most of the raw materials for producing processed food are still imported so far. My question is, why are imports still needed? What is lacking in our own raw materials?
Yeah, it's unbalanced between the upstream and downstream. Our downstream industry growing very fast. Unfortunately, in the upstream side, it's not. So that's why we need more import. For example, like milk. We import more than 80% of the raw materials of milk, dairy industry to have to import.
It's a big number.
This is a big number. For the sugar, 100% for the industries. Salt is around 70%. Yeah. I think this government have to focus on develop on the upstream side because we need more support from the government. In the upstream side, investment is more higher, but the return of investment is longer. In Indonesia, the cost of money is very high. So that's why we need more support from the governments to give more incentive for the developing in the upstream sides. And then the other things also, we need more support from the government for the infrastructure. For example, like salt. Governments request the industry to build salt farmers in NTT, in the Nusa Tenggara. Unfortunately, infrastructure is very poor, so the logistic cost is very high, higher than the salt itself. So this is the big ones of the samples why we need more support from the government for the infrastructure, for the incentive as well to grow the upstream side. And we have to compete with the global ecosystems. Like sugars, now for example, sugars, our Indonesia produce sugar around 2.1 million metric tons. The demand for the household consumptions more than 2.8 million metric tons. Still lack of the supply. So that's why our industry need more 100% import for around 3.5 million metric ton. And also the quality is very important. So not all the production from the Indonesian side can meet our requirement, our quality. So that's why this is the big challenges for us.
So we are lacking not only in production, but also in terms of quality.
Yes.
What kind of raw materials should the government focus on in terms of reducing our imports then?
I think government can do it in for example, like sugars, but need more focus, more focus on developing this. And also milk, I think can do some milk industry, dairy industry integrated in the East Java is one of the samples that is have a success to grow the cow milk, and then. Salt, I think, okay, but we need more support from the government for infrastructure, etc.
Now, Pak Adhi, the government have also plans to increase value-added tax to 12% from 11%, and this is to happen next year. Do you think that this tax increase will then have a significant impact on our sales?
Yes, of course, because the food and beverage is price sensitive, so that's why will impact a lot to the food and beverage industry. In the midst of the buying power is still challenging very weak in currently. So that's why I think we need to we request government to review this policy, and if possible disagree. If possible, we propose for the food. If possible, government reduce the VAT. Maybe let's say around 7 to 8%, but government can compensate from others luxury goods to increase the VAT more than 12, maybe until maximum 15% as regulations. That is to compensate, because the government need to support the Indonesian peoples to get affordable food with lower VAT, I think.
All right. Now, last question. If you can just talk a bit more about the small and medium enterprises, because they are also facing a very difficult moment at the moment. What can the government and the industry do to help the small and medium enterprises then?
Yes. based on the Statistic Bureau, the number of the SMEs for the food and beverage industry is around 1.7 million units companies. So we need to support them because the lack of the financial, lack of the market access, lack of the capability and the competency of in the food and beverage industry. So our associations working together with the ministry like Ministry of Industry, Ministry of Cooperative and Small SMEs to give capacity building, and also we have effort to help them to increase from the small medium to be medium companies. With we help them to fulfill the regulation, everything, and we have what we call it the Scholar Export or Export School to help them to get market access more to the global market. Some already success, and also we have a program like Indonesian Spice Up the World. We build and help, yes, yeah, we help the SMEs with from the spices industries to go global. So we help them to improve the quality, improve the food safety, etc., and comply the regulations, and then we give access them to export through the exhibition, like something like that.
And you briefly mentioned before about the use of Industry 4.0 technology. Can you just briefly explain to us what is this?
Yes, food Industry 4.0 is very important for us to improve our productivity and efficiency. Government already launched since 2018, and this is a good program. Otherwise, we cannot compete with the global market. So now Ministry of Industry already determined 4 industry to be the lighthouse, and then we can learn from that industry to implement the Industry 4.0. And government also have what they call it the bimbingan teknis, guidance, and also to implement this. I think this, and through the Indy 4.0, this is the scoring to measure the implementation of Industry 4.0. This program can encourage industry, food and beverage industry, to implement this. And we hope with this technology, we can improve our productivity, efficiency, and more competitive in the global market.
Of course, and we are looking forward to more details on that on our next talk. Bapak Adhi S. Lukman, Chairman of Indonesian F&B Producers Association, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and information here on Economic Outlook.